Archangel Michael says, I order you to open this right now. Jesus is begging you only for you 2 minutes for your family. The air around you has thickened, though no one else notices it. Something ancient has shifted behind the veil, and the ground beneath your life no longer holds as it once did. The collapse does not shout, it whispers through closed doors, unread messages, and the tightening in your chest at 3:13 a.m. Archangel Michael says the rot began long before today, disguised in the shape of convenience, comfort, and subtle betrayals. It's been waiting in the background, folding into your calendar, kissing your forehead in silence, and now it coils like smoke around your ankles, rising. This is not punishment. This is awakening. You are being pulled into a reckoning that cannot be postponed. What you have ignored has grown teeth, and it now waits at the edge of every conversation, every mirror, every silence. The enemy is not just outside, it's seated beside you in the places you swore were safe. God says you have cried without making a sound. He heard it all. The betrayal that came from someone you trusted with your name, your story, your children, it is not forgotten. Heaven has kept record where the earth tried to erase you. The moon trembled behind torn clouds the night your spirit was weighed. You were not found lacking. But your silence nearly cost everything. You are the last key. The one they hoped would stay asleep. That's why this message found you. There are powers that counted on your exhaustion, your numbness, your forgetfulness. They stitched your name into their rituals of control. They whispered, let her stay tired. Let him stay doubtful. Let them believe God has gone quiet. But now Archangel Michael says the alarm has sounded and cannot be unsound. You are walking through a battlefield that looks like your daily routine. You've eaten next to enemies. You've apologized to traitors. You've made room for vipers in the name of peace. But heaven is not looking for peace, it is waiting for obedience. The house you call your own has doorways only heaven sees. Some were opened by your ancestors. Some were ripped open by your own cries. And now spiritual traffic moves in and out, day and night, looking for a host, for a voice, for a soul unguarded. Your bloodline remembers everything. Every wound, every curse, every moment someone chose the easy lie over the brutal truth. You have been marked not by failure, but by survival. That is why they hate you. That is why they fear you. You are the one they couldn't stop. A name was spoken over you before you were born. Not the one on paper, not the one your enemies mock in their closed-door meetings. The name that echoes through the halls of the throne room. It is that name the darkness wants to extinguish. But it is that name God is now calling to rise. The lights will flicker. The arguments will come out of nowhere. People you thought were allies will bare teeth and say, I never knew you. Good. Let them show you now. Let the veil rip now, before it's too late. God says this collapse is not destruction, it is extraction. He is pulling you out of everything that was sent to bury you alive. And yes, it will look like loss. Yes, it will feel like death. But it is the only way to unchain your legacy from the grave your bloodline was forced to inherit. Archangel Michael says you are not allowed to turn away from this. The moment has arrived, and heaven's court is already in session. Your silence will testify. Your choices will echo. And every angel is watching for your movement. You may feel like you're breaking, but that is just the cage cracking. You may feel like it's too late, but that is just the lie trying to pull you back under. Every scar you carry is a key. Every tear you swallowed in secret is now pouring into heaven's bowl, tipping it toward intervention. This world does not care if you perish quietly. But God does. That is why He has rerouted time and space to bring you this exact message in this exact moment. Your children's freedom depends on it. Your family's covering is tied to it. Your own soul has been praying for it while you slept. This is not just about you. Heaven is watching generations unfold behind your yes or your no. Everything is shifting. You were never meant to remain in the role of the overlooked, the betrayed, the quiet one. You were meant to become the breaker, the witness, the storm. Betrayal walks beside you now, trying to convince you it was all just your fault. But truth is rising behind you like the dawn. It cannot be stopped. It will illuminate every fake friend, every covert curse, every bloodline vow that needs breaking. God says this is your divine interruption. He is dismantling what you thought you needed. He is pulling you from the arms of things that only pretended to love you. It is a brutal mercy, but it is mercy nonetheless. And it will save everything if you let it. When the silence gets louder than thunder, know this: you are not alone. The wind knows your name. The sky bends for your deliverance. This collapse is not the end. It is the beginning of everything you were born to resurrect. The sky has been watching you longer than your ancestors dared to. It has carried your grief in its clouds, your questions in its thunder, your hope in its silence. And now it splits, not with violence, but with a whisper so fierce it burns through your marrow and calls your name back into alignment. Archangel Michael says this moment was written in the stars before any betrayal ever touched your blood. Heaven is not surprised by your suffering, nor by the shadow wrapped around your household. What surprises heaven is that you still don't see who you are. There are prayers circling you right now like unseen sentinels. Not just yours, but those you've forgotten, those prayed through trembling lips by someone you'll never meet, generations deep. They've waited for you. And now you stand at the place of activation, where everything whispered in desperation becomes fire in your bones. You feel it, don't you? The heaviness behind the mirror, the weight in your dreams, the way certain rooms go cold when no windows are open. This is not imagination. This is recognition. The spirits you were never meant to host are becoming restless because the expiration of their influence is near. God says some of the pain you carry was never yours. It was placed on you by hands that called themselves family. It was embedded in your habits, disguised as culture, passed down like heirlooms of silent torment. And now he is coming for it. With justice. With fire. With no apology. The wounded sky is bleeding revelation now. The stars blink in divine rhythm. Lightning breaks in patterns only heaven can decipher, and your name is threaded into the storm's language. You were never forgotten. You were marked for this moment, and the sky has opened to remind you. Archangel Michael says they have watched the ones around you who smile with no light in their eyes. They have heard the words spoken in secret, the curses cloaked as concern. Heaven has catalogued every false alliance, every delay caused by your loyalty to the wrong people. You were warned in dreams. You felt it in your chest when you said yes to what your spirit wanted to scream no to. You thought you were being kind. But kindness without discernment is the devil's favorite loophole. And now the damage echoes through your house, and God is stepping in. The whispers are not madness. They are ancient truths awakening. They sound like your voice because they were spoken by your spirit before your mouth ever formed. You're remembering now. The wound is simply the doorway. The betrayal was just the alarm. This is not chaos. This is your divine recall. You were born with something in your breath that terrifies the powers in the air. That's why life has tried to crush you early, often, repeatedly. If you had been ordinary, they would have let you pass in peace. But you carry disruption in your DNA. You are the one who breaks the pattern. You will be misunderstood. You will be isolated. You will be mocked for walking away from what others bow to. But heaven will never mock you. Heaven will roar at your obedience. And the sky will remember your name as thunder remembers lightning. God says the veil is not being torn gently. It is being ripped open by divine force because too many souls are waiting on the other side of your courage. You are the living gate, and your hesitation has blocked miracles meant for generations. But mercy still remains, if you move now. They want you tired. They want you confused. They want you trapped in spiritual fog, making decisions from exhaustion, not clarity. That fog is not yours. It's been assigned to you. But the wind of heaven is clearing it now, and every fake peace is being exposed by divine discomfort. There will be shifts in your body. Heat in your hands. A pressure behind your eyes. Losses that feel like betrayal but are actually realignment. Don't resist them. The divine is unthreading lies you've called love and weaving truth into every crack of your obedience. Archangel Michael says you are being untethered from what kept you small. Your agreements with fear are being revoked. Your contracts with survival are being shredded. You are not just being healed, you are being revealed. The sky over your home is weeping joy, even in this storm. Because the lie that said you were forgotten has been shattered. And now, heaven sends messengers in code, in dream, in numbers, in names you suddenly remember, in signs no one else sees but your spirit knows. This world has rehearsed your defeat for decades. But one whisper from the wounded sky has undone what thousands of hours of oppression tried to forge. You are not theirs. You are not your failure. You are not your trauma. You are the fulfilled word of a God who does not lose. God says this is your divine awakening, not a breakdown. It hurts because you're waking up in a world built to keep you numb. It hurts because you're shedding what cannot go with you. But every part of you that remains will be drenched in the glory of unfiltered truth. Let the whispers lead you now, not the voices of doubt, but the echoes of your spirit's original promise. You're not crazy. You're not late. You're not weak. You're chosen. And the sky is tearing itself open just to remind you. The moment you look into the mirror today, you will feel it. Not the reflection, but the thing behind it. The presence that has watched you rehearse your survival, wear your wounds like quiet medals, and convince yourself that what they did was somehow your fault. But the mirror can no longer lie. Archangel Michael says the mirror is devouring illusions now. Every false version of you, crafted by trauma, whispered by betrayers, reinforced by fear, is shattering beneath the surface. The real you, the dangerous you, the anointed you, is coming forward whether you're ready or not. God says this confrontation is not cruelty, it is rescue. He's tearing the mask from your spirit, the one they taught you to wear so you wouldn't make others uncomfortable with your power. But your comfort is not heaven's concern anymore. Your calling is. The enemy has always seen who you are beneath the disguise. That's why the attack was personal. That's why the manipulation was surgical. That's why the betrayal came wrapped in the face you loved most. The goal was to break the mirror before you ever looked into it. But it's too late now. You have seen the cracks. You've noticed how people flinch when you speak truth they weren't ready to hear. You've seen the lights dim when you enter a room charged with hidden intentions. That is not coincidence. That is recognition. And the darkness remembers you. The devouring mirror reflects your authority now. Not borrowed. Not earned. Inborn. From before the first time you cried out as a child, you carried the blueprint of destruction, for every stronghold built against your bloodline. You are not simply breaking free. You are the judgment they feared. Your life is not random. The attacks weren't arbitrary. The confusion wasn't accidental. The mirror they gave you was distorted on purpose. It showed you guilt instead of glory, weakness instead of wisdom, shame instead of spiritual strategy. But now that mirror is cracking. And heaven is watching what steps through. Archangel Michael says this is the unveiling. You will feel displaced. People will act like they don't know you. And that is correct, they only knew the version of you that played small to make others feel safe. They never met the one forged in the furnace of midnight prayers. Your voice is about to change. Not in sound, but in spirit. Every word you speak will cut through lies. Every step you take will shatter ground that demons thought was theirs. You won't need permission to disrupt atmospheres. Your very presence will declare war on deception. You have prayed for peace, but heaven heard the war cry underneath. You didn't want revenge. You wanted restoration. But before restoration comes revelation. And now you will see who was sent to build with you, and who was always working for your burial. God says some alliances will end suddenly. Some relationships will fall apart like ash in your hand. Don't chase them. Don't mourn what was built on counterfeit affection. These endings are not tragedies, they are answers. Every false covenant must collapse before the true covenant can rise. The mirror is alive now. It's not glass. It's spiritual fire. It reveals the parasite hidden in your patterns, the thief wrapped in your routine, the deception sewn into your daily choices. And when you stare into it with courage, everything that pretended to love you will show its true face. There is a sound rising in your blood. It is not rage, it is justice. The same divine frequency that split the Red Sea, that shattered prison doors, that rolled the stone from the tomb, it is moving through your veins. You are not broken. You are becoming. You may feel haunted, but you're actually being escorted. Angels walk behind you now, gathering the fragments, collecting the weeping, anointing every scar as a scroll of divine proof. They know what you survived. And they're preparing the court for your testimony. Archangel Michael says you will speak, and their masks will fall. You will dream, and veils will burn. You will weep, and heaven will interpret your tears as decrees. You are not soft, you are sacred. You are not confused, you are being recalibrated. Look around. The ones who said, "I love you," while plotting your downfall are starting to tremble. They don't understand it yet, but they sense what's coming. The version of you they controlled no longer exists. The mirror devoured her. The fire resurrected what they tried to kill. You don't owe anyone your silence. You don't need to explain your awakening. You are the one who walks away from what no longer carries divine permission to remain. Your departure is the beginning of a spiritual eviction. The throne is being reclaimed. God says your deliverance will offend those who worship your chains. They liked you better bound. They could predict you, manipulate you, redefine you. But now the real you is coming forward, armed with discernment, dripping with clarity, and carrying the weight of heaven's justice. There is no going back. There is no returning to false safety. The mirror is broken, and what stepped through is too fierce to fit back into the costume of silence. Your face has changed in the spirit realm. Your authority has been reissued. The counterfeit realm is on notice. Let them say you've changed. Let them say you're unrecognizable. Let them say you're too intense now. Good. That's how angels move. That's how fire speaks. That's how resurrection walks. And the mirror, oh, the mirror, they tried to use it to imprison you. But now it reflects the face of someone who made it through hell and still carries heaven in their bones. The fire has already started. Not in your home, but in your spirit. It flickers behind your ribs, burns beneath your tongue, turns your memories into kindling, and it does not apologize. This fire was not sent to comfort you. It was sent to cleanse you. God says the fire will not ask permission to burn what you love if what you love is killing your purpose. You prayed for deliverance, but now heaven responds in flame, not feathers. He is not interested in preserving the version of you built for other people's comfort. This is the part they don't teach, the deliverance that destroys before it delivers. The liberation that feels like loss. The grace that arrives dressed like grief. But the fire comes not to punish, it comes because there is too much destiny trapped in your silence. Archangel Michael says your house in the spirit is smoldering now. The foundation you built while desperate is cracking. The altars to fear, to performance, to self-preservation, they are collapsing. Let them. Do not reach into the flame to save what heaven has condemned. There are names you've repeated out of loyalty, not love. Assignments you carried out of guilt, not calling. Roles you performed to keep the peace, even when peace was a lie. And now the fire is exposing it all. You will see strange things in this hour. Dreams that shake you. People revealing their true motives without warning. Objects breaking. Sickness flaring. Communication falling apart. These are not coincidences, they are signs. The fire is flushing the serpents from their hiding places. God says the patterns that kept you bound are now on trial. Every repetition of dysfunction, every unholy agreement signed in desperation, every compromise you made to survive, the fire is coming for them. You will either surrender them or be scorched trying to protect them. This fire is not chaos. It is courtroom protocol. You are the witness, the defendant, and the heir all at once. What burns now was never part of your inheritance. It was placed on you to derail your becoming. But heaven has found you ready. You are being unmade so you can be reborn. That is why everything feels unstable. That is why nothing tastes the same. That is why silence grows louder. The fire is refining the frequency of your discernment. You will no longer tolerate what carries hidden poison. Archangel Michael says the fire is intelligent. It knows what to leave untouched. It knows how to preserve the remnants of your true identity beneath the ash. You will not be left empty. You will be left clean. The fire does not consult your schedule. It does not bow to your relationships. It does not knock politely. It breaks in like a thief and takes everything that is not aligned with truth. Because deception must die before destiny can live. You prayed for God to do whatever it takes. This is what it takes. The isolation. The confusion. The deep groaning in your soul that has no words. That's the fire working its way into the marrow of your identity, extracting every parasite your soul adopted as normal. You are not being punished, you are being pruned. You are not under attack, you are under transformation. And everything in your life that has been feeding on the old you is about to lose its host. God says this fire is His yes to your secret prayer. The one you whispered when no one saw you. The one you wept into your pillow, begging Him to come if He was real. This is not abandonment. This is response. And it's louder than thunder. Things will leave. People will exit. Familiarity will feel foreign. The patterns you relied on will stop working. Good. That means the fire is reaching the roots. That means your bloodline is being untied from ancient agreements it didn't consent to. Archangel Michael says you carry fire in your blood for a reason. You were born to disrupt, to deconstruct, to call out what others covered up. That's why your presence agitates. That's why your discernment offends. You see through what others sanctify. Do not apologize for this fire. Do not dilute it to be accepted. Do not hide it to keep peace. Let it roar. Let it destroy. Let it consume everything that was built on lies and handed to you like a gift. It was never yours. The enemy thought fire would destroy you. He didn't know you were made from it. That's why you keep surviving what should have ended you. That's why you carry the scent of sacred rebellion. That's why you cannot unsee what you've seen. This is not the end of you, it is the beginning of your uncontainable rise. When the smoke clears, what remains will not be weak, will not be silenced, will not be manipulated. What remains will carry the signature of God's fire, purity, clarity, authority. You are not here to maintain. You are here to overthrow. You are the wild card in your bloodline, the one sent to interrupt ancient cycles and usher in a glory no one in your family saw coming. That's why it's been this hard. That's why it's been this long. But that ends now. Let the fire fall. Let it consume what you thought you needed. Let it burn away the titles, the masks, the trauma-coated armor. You will not come out as you were. You will come out as you truly are. And in the aftermath, as the ashes settle, you will hear heaven whisper, "It is done. It is cleansed. It is ready."